Let's bring in Fox News Strategic Analyst Lt. Colonel Ralph Peters, who worked for years in military intelligence, specializing in the Soviet Union. You speak fluent Russian. I need you to speak English right now. I need you, if you could, for our viewers, to translate and maybe to decipher, decode what certain sentences mean and others don't. Last night, National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, I know you heard this, said, quote, "The story that came out tonight, as reported, is false." He came out today and said what was shared, meaning with the Russians, was wholly appropriate given the purpose of that conversation and the purpose of what the president was trying to achieve through that meeting with the Russians. Colonel Peters, can you translate the difference if there is one with that?
Well, it's painful to me as a former officer to watch H.R. McMaster go through these gyrations. The code words in what he said last night were as reported. In other words, some parts of the article were right, some parts of it may not have been right. And then you get the same kind of word games today. Tricia, what I'd like to try to do briefly is clear up some misconceptions, because all day, and I've been hearing people pontificate about intelligence, and they know nothing about it. First of all, the President of the United States does have the legal authority to declassify American-originated classified information, not stuff that's been shared with us by allies without their permission. But I know of no single instance, none, where contemporary code word, and code word means above top secret, even the names of the programs are classified. I know of no instance where a president declassified that, and for declassification, there's a process. It's not done spur of the moment in a chat in the Oval Office. It's done with a deliberate process where the intelligence agencies get a chance to argue why it shouldn't be declassified. And so there's so much smoke here that it's hard to see the core issue. And to me, the core issue is very straightforward. First of all, the core issue is not leaks. That's a diversion. Without misdeeds, there's nothing to leak. The core issue is President Trump's bizarre and dubious affection for the Russians and his conviction, utterly ungrounded, that they are and will be our allies in the war against ISIS. Look, Trish, I know the Russians.
Liz, I love Trish, but it's okay.
I'm getting carried away with myself, and believe me, I know the distance. But you know, I know the Russians, and if you can feed all the steak you want to a rabid dog, it's still going to bite you. And far from helping us against ISIS, we are fighting ISIS. The Russians are killing our allies in Syria. And by the way, Russians are helping the Taliban kill American soldiers in Afghanistan. What did Trump get out of this? That's what I'd like to know. Let's
also listen to what H.R. McMaster said earlier, just about 2 hours ago, about who might have been compromised. Here's the soundbite.
That the president in no way compromised any sources or methods in the course of this conversation.
How can he be so sure of that? He said that shortly after the story was broken, and we all know the Russians. The Russians will take information, they will triangulate it, figure it out, they'll take back channels and trace it, and then we've known in the past they've then killed spies that they thought were at the center of revealing something. I mean, I don't know. The Israelis say they're fine with this. Do you think that that's just a line?
Well, what are the Israelis going to say? They don't want to spat with the United States. I'm sure they're furious. And Liz, you're exactly right. The Russians can take this information, and apparently, reportedly, the president even told them which city well, now we know Israeli spy was in. Well, that guy may not belong for this world. This seems to me to have been our single best source of intelligence on ISIS. And I don't think the president was trying to hurt our country. But he's often infantile. He was like a child showing off his new bicycle. Hey, look at my new bicycle. Hey, I know what secrets about ISIS, and we've got a source. And it's just not the way you do things. The president can't do this stuff spontaneously. It has to be coordinated. And by the way, you also heard that, well, the president didn't reveal sources and methods, and they said he wasn't briefed on them. No, he wasn't, but he was briefed on the classification. Sure. He would have been told, Mr. President, what follows is, you know, code word buzz wacka wacka.
Okay, they're going to kill me because we've got to go, but short answer here. The press and the media are being accused of getting hysterical over this story. I'm not hysterical. I'm just trying to figure out, because we can see the markets are very indecisive, and some of that has to do with this.
Well, very simply, if it was a one-off, there'd be nothing to be upset about. Oh, the president goofed. The problem is the pattern, this bizarre affection for Vladimir Putin.
Colonel Ralph Peters, thank you so much.